first suggested motion is that the Board of Education approve the amount of $197,943,072, excluding the debt service fund, as the 2011 tax levy of Township High School District 211. Can someone please move that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion here?
I guess I would like to make a couple of comments. I think we do have to recognize the community has sent us some emails, made some phone calls, and has come here to speak in regards to this. I think we have to, address the issue. And I appreciate the comment, and I know that these are, some really difficult times because the population, of people that I deal with through social services. I think several weeks ago, we had a really good presentation from Dave that, took us through the levy, and I think it really benefited the individuals that were here and were able to see that. More communication with our community, the better, especially with information that we have to share. But I do understand the importance of putting an amount in for the tax levy. And I believe if we look at the tax cap, the 1.5, and then the new revenue, the 0.3, that we really should go ahead with this with the 1.8%. I know that it's really difficult, and I know about the taxes that people have to pay, but if we were not to do this, there's just no guarantee that there would be any savings to the individual, or whether businesses would end up with savings if we did not do the tax levy. I know we really have to take a look at the legislation and some of the tax laws and the P-TELs and how much money we have to give back. And I know Dave does a really good job of trying to factor that in. So we give millions back to corporations because they file the P-TELs. One of the other things that I think is important is we've done the abatements, and so we do try to save some money that way. So instead of having our levy with an additional, instead of it being about 9 million, we're over at the 5 million mark. So that does have some savings. So I know all these things kind of all gel together, and I know our community is trying to grapple with what we need for the school and their taxes. I think maybe in the future what we should do, I know what we need to do is really take a look at our budget, maybe look at what expenses we can reduce, and maybe in the future we need to take a look at our tax levy and maybe take a look at some different options where it could be 1%, or it could be 0.5%, or it could be 1.5%. And maybe examine that a little bit more next year, because I know we really did not do that good of a job with it this year. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to do a little bit more examination in the future. But unfortunately, I can't see us doing that right at this moment. And we need to do this.
Any other comments or questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Gerber?
Aye.
Mr. Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Brandt?
Aye.
Mrs. Klumkowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Burke?
Aye.
Mr. Lefebvre?
Aye. The second suggested motion is that the Board of Education adopt the resolution as presented to authorize and direct the county clerk to abate a portion of the taxes levied for the year 2011 to pay debt service on $50,470,000 of school bonds, Series 2006 of Township High School District 211. Can someone please move that?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion here? Roll call, please.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Burke?
Aye.
Mr. Brandt? Mr. Gerber?
Aye.
Mrs. Klumkowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Lefebvre?
Aye. Next item of business is class rank determination. Suggested motion that the Board of Education approve the recommendation of the class rank committee that the practice of ranking students based on GPA be discontinued as presented. Can someone please move that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Did we get input from students in regards to this? I was just kind of curious what they said.
I believe most of the input was from our college advisors that came from the colleges, is that correct?
Correct. We did not solicit input. We have, though, on occasion over the last several years received feedback from parents prior to looking at this, and most of the parents that we have heard from would support this decision, and that for the majority of students there is either no impact or a perceived negative impact from the practice of ranking. So we have seen that, but not directly students.
I guess I would have been curious to find out what the students thought of this. I know we asked students about Hoffman Estates, which I think it's wonderful to get student input because they buy into certain things. But maybe, in the future when we do things like this, let's see if we could get input from the kids, to find out what their thoughts are behind this. Sometimes they have really good thoughts and suggestions.
Sure. Now, one of the things I'd have to say is we've obviously looked at this in 2008, we looked at it again in 2010, but I think what's happened is nationally some of the things have changed, and really from hearing from the college experts, a very small percentage, when you're looking at 20-some% are using class rank. What we discovered is that it actually could be more of a negative influence than a positive influence. So that it really is in our students' best interest to look at this kind of two-phased approach. And obviously for students who will be seniors next year, because it would be something that would be new for them, we will give those students the option. So that if they wanted to have their rank, if they felt that that in any way would help them, we would give the student the option to have rank on their college application.
Question, and maybe I missed it in here. Are we still going to do our top 25 students?
Yes, we're still going to have our academic scholars, but what we're looking at, obviously, if we're not going to have class rank, that we've asked the committee to come back and look at a grade point average that they would recommend. So it probably won't be top 25, but what we're going to do is look at our past years, and that would probably necessitate a policy change. So that will be coming back to the board for the policy, but also the recommendation for the academic scholars.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?